Good morning, crypto Twitter, it's Misty Crypto, spreading crypto with doctors showing its benefits to my generation. Shout out to all my people, Jesse needs to be included, it's really that simple. We are savage, amazed, boss, zesty, making money at the same time, spread peace. Might feel empty if you don't include Gen Z, about to change the world, so y'all better get ready. Misty Crypto, I'm never backing down, I got a wax account, you should check it out. So many NFTs, I think I lost count, and I'm only getting started. Yeah, I'm barely off the ground. Misty Crypto, you cannot stop me. My hands are made from diamond, your hands fall like origami. Never be the boss of me. Bitcoin's all I need. When I say I'm zesty, that's just me talking honestly. Crypto, yum yum bomb marketplace. I wanna see the more we gotta go through cyberspace. Leave this world without a trace. Stay faithful with different day, cause we partners in the cryptos didn't stay.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Miss Teen Crypto Show. I hope you guys are having a lovely Tuesday today. Thank you all for popping out. I see a ton of you in the chat ready for the show to get started. And as always, before we jump in, we're going to thank two awesome sponsors of the Miss Teen Crypto Show. First being Wax Blockchain Instant and Gasless Transactions. Absolutely killing the game. If you picked up your Hot Wheels pack, you should be able to unpack that today and get your NFTs, which is super cool. Next, we have Ballet. Ballet, super easy and simple wallets. BalletCrypto.com. Both links are in the live chat and in the description. One person will be winning one of these bad boys today, so keep note for a keyword or phrase that our zesty guest is going to give us, and it'll be in the chat. If you win, DM me on Twitter with your email address. I'll get you set up. I'm going to throw an NFT in here. If we get 10 more likes, if we get, let's say, 40 likes, I'm going to throw another NFT in there. So let's jump into today's awesome show with Ashley Duncan. Thank you so much for coming today. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. Just been a very chill day. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm really happy to have you here. You're super cool. I've been following you for a while now, and I love your tweets, by the way. And I love what you do. I love your whole persona. I think you just radiate really good energy, to be honest.
I've always been in crypto space for so long, and such an inspiration to young women out there getting started. So the feeling's mutual.
Oh, thank you so much, girl. You're really the best. I really appreciate you. I really want to get to know you, before crypto. Let's say, let's start off at college. What was a college Ashley up to? What were your aspirations? What did you want to do with your life?
Well, that's funny. So I actually wanted to go into journalism whenever I was in college. Yeah, I took communications. I actually worked for my school's newspaper, so that was already kind of my background. So
that's awesome.
And then eventually I kept changing my mind. I kept, going into, I went into, waiting tables, and hoping to be a manager there. Then I went into banking and fraud analyst, and I've jumped industry so many times. So yeah, I've done a little bit of everything.
Wow, that's really interesting. So you wanted to be a journalist. What was your end game with that? What did you want? You wanted to be writing news in the newspapers? Were you trying to be more of a reporter type on camera? What was your vibe, especially because you were doing a newspaper? So
I love the idea of investigative reporting.
Yes.
I did an investigative reporting piece, for my cities, because they had, in a city, they had these potholes and that they would never fix. And so I was trying to investigate why. And so I did this whole piece. And of course, high schoolers are not probably very interested in that, but it was a piece that I won an award for,
wow.
for UIL. So yeah, it was super cool. So I'm I was very proud of that moment, but yeah, that's probably my highlight of my journalism career, to be honest. So the most interesting story, I guess, I've written.
I mean, I'm still impressed. You saw a problem and you wanted to talk about it. I mean, that's true journalism at its finest. So props to you for having the courage to even do that. Because some people, might have been no, leave it alone. But you were no, I want this fixed. So props to you, respect. And then you jumped into the banking industry, which is a little bit of a turn, and you were looking into fraud and things like that. What is a job like? Like, what do you do for that type of job? What are you really looking for and things like that? I would love to know.
Well, I loved fraud analyst. That was my favorite part of any career that I've had. Like I started with the mobile fraud banking at Bank of America, and basically my job was within a 5-minute period, a mobile transaction would come through, and I had 5 minutes to decide whether it was fraudulent or not. So what I do is go into their history and see who they've all sent it to. I'd go into their social medias and see who they've been communicating with. So all that within 5 minutes. And then if it was, legit, I would let it go through. If not, I would make a call and talk to them and see if I could pick up whether or not it was a fraud transaction. So it was a lot of intuition, a lot of instinct, and so it was really exciting. It was like being an investigator. I even the coolest part of that job is there was actually a murder that happened during that period where the guy that murdered his mother had fraud on his account. So it turns out that somebody stole his credit card. So I had to help locate not only him, but also whoever stole the credit card. So it was like super exciting. It was probably, yeah, it was really cool. So that part like made me want to be like a police officer, investigative, like detective or whatever. So, but I have like little phases of employment that I was interested in. I guess I lose interest pretty easily, apparently.
Wow. No, that's like pretty cool. And especially because you got to, having a 5-minute span to look into social media, like, and do all of that. What would you do to do that? Did you have like a database where it would link like the person to their social media, or you had to do some Googling on the side? What was that process like?
Like Googling was a lot of it, like, just basic socials like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We had a system, it's called LexisNexis, and people in the banking industry or like those kind of background industries know what it is. You basically put in a name and their personal information, and it brings up everything from past addresses, siblings, anything. So it can bring up like literally their entire life, so that you have a few minutes to kind of scroll around that. It's very fascinating.
Yeah, because you could just find anybody on there. That's pretty wild. And when you had to find the person who murdered their mother, like, were you working with like law enforcement? Obviously you have to work with law enforcement, right? And like communicate with them. Was that a lot to deal with, like paperwork and things like that?
At the time, it was just more exciting than anything. We had like an official come in, cool, sitting at my desk, and we were talking a lot. I mean, they couldn't give me a lot of details other than like the seriousness of the situation. So it just was it was like I don't know. It's like one of those career highlights that you get to sit with somebody like in that world, and you just feel like I don't know, you're doing something good, even though like it wasn't the actual guy that we ended up catching. We just caught his, person that stole the car.
Yeah, but
it was still like just one of those things that you don't get every day.
Yeah, that must have been like a little bit of an adrenaline rush. Like, ooh, gotta go find this person. Like, I would love that. Like, that's super cool. And how long did you stick with that? How long did you do that for?
I was in banking for about 2 years, and then I switched over to real estate. So I became like a realtor and a call center admin for a real estate firm.
Wow. So what does that entail?
So basically, like when I first started, I was in the call center. So at the time, I was making calls to book like appointments for realtors and things like that. And then I went into management and basically like kept up all the numbers from like real estate throughout the years, like what the trends were, like basically building up selling points for my team. And then eventually when I did real estate, like I was making my own appointments, buying and selling houses for people, things like that. So it was kind of like involved. But a lot of my, main work was like analytics.
That's pretty cool. And what did you find that was most interesting about, like the real estate market, and how do you think the real estate market is doing like now compared to then?
I would say the most interesting part of real estate is the human mechanics behind it. A lot of it is run by, like the emotions of people, especially when you're on, like buying or selling. Like a lot of the realtors don't like to work with buyers because the phrase in real estate, anybody that knows real estate knows that buyers are liars. That's the big phrase. So a lot of people hate taking buyers. Like it's just, this thing. So anytime I'd call a realtor, hey, I got a buyer for you, they would reject it almost 75% of the time.
Wow.
When I first started in real estate, it was just really kind of down because there was, like just coming back from the recession, and it was just like, there was a lot of, problems at the time. Once like middle of my career, it was doing really well. Real estate was, it was hard. Like I had a buyer that it took me 2 months to get a home for, which was crazy. And
That
you had
is
to do an all
insane.
cash offer, no appraisal, yeah. So it's just, but now I've been kind of out of it because I've been more into NFTs, but I feel like it's going to go back into, some people are skeptical on whether it's going to go down or up. I'm pretty convinced it'll have a downward cycle, in my opinion. And that's why I'm not so much into it now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think because especially when a lot of people, I saw a migration from like a lot of the Italians from Brooklyn were leaving and going to Florida. A lot of Bitcoiners were going to Miami, and just the real estate there was just ridiculous. Like houses literally 3 or 4x in some spots, especially the apartments. And then now it's more like things are calming down, especially because the restrictions in New York aren't that bad. So, I'm kind of like learning, like it is a lot based on human emotion. People are flying down to Miami. I don't know if you know a lot of people, especially from crypto, that went down to Miami.
Oh yeah. Yep. I would go if I could. I love Miami. It's just it's expensive. So expensive.
Yeah. And so you're still into real estate, like you're not as into it now, but is that what you were doing from from the point you stopped doing banking to whatchamacallit, to NFTs?
Yeah, so I was in real estate for years, and then when I discovered NFTs, I was kind of coming out of that world because it was so hectic and going into more analytics than anything. And then eventually, I just with one of my collections selling out, I was able to just fully do NFTs and kind of got out of the real estate game entirely. If you have a chance to fully degen out, you got to take it when you can.
Exactly. I feel you. How did you first find cryptocurrency? What year was that? And what did you first think at the start?
Well, my very first crypto was Doge. That's probably a lot of people's first. My friend, he lives in Japan, and he called me and he was like, hey, Ashley, you've got this coin. Like, you love the meme. It's the Dogecoin. You should buy it. And I was, back when it was like 0.003 or something super low. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it. Why not? Put a couple hundred in, like, who cares? So then fast forward to 2021, I start to see articles about Dogecoin, and I'm like, oh, wow. I think I remember buying that, 4 years ago. Then I look at my account and it's great.
Yeah.
I, have all this money to and I was like, this is great. Like, I'm going to get into this. And at the time I was just learning about NFTs too. But I thought they were stupid at the time, but I got into crypto and I moved on to so many different cryptos. One of my first coins that I bought was like Tokecoin, and bought a bunch of other stuff I did pretty good, and I got into stocks. So I just kind of hung out there, and then I transitioned to NFTs in July.
In July? That was like July 2021 or 2020?
2021. When I doxed myself, that's when I got into NFTs. Like, I doxed myself around June or July. Because before I just had a totally different persona. I didn't even show my face. I just, was kind of lurking in the background. But once I got into NFTs, like opened, it was like being in Candyland or something. I don't know. It was great.
Yeah, and how did you I know you said at first you thought NFTs were stupid. How did that light bulb moment happen for you? Where like, oh, well, maybe this is something.
It started, like I had a few friends that got into NFTs. Somebody, the Doge Pound actually reached out to me. That was my very first NFT. And they were like, hey, we'd love your support. I know you're one of the, people into Doge. And so I was able to, work with them and got into Doge Pound. So I really liked, that connection. And I thought it was more fun to be in the community. And then eventually, like I kept seeing, CryptoPunks selling for all this money, kept seeing related. So, that was when I first started my, titties thing. And I made my own NFT. And when it sold, I was so surprised. I was shocked. And I was like, you know what? Let me make another one. Maybe it was like a fluke that it sold. And all of a sudden, people were requesting for me to make these little pixelated titty people, and it started making me think I'm spending my day making these things, and that's what people were doing. That's what they're doing. It's art in the most interesting way possible, that is like very unique to it's on the blockchain, so it can't be replicated, unlike other paintings or drawings. So it just felt like I got really bullish all of a sudden, like because I saw my own work, people appreciating it, and it made me ape into so many different friends NFTs. I just kind of went crazy. That's when I found my love for NFTs.
Wow. So first was the NFTs collection, right?
Yes.
So how did you start? How did that originally start? Why did you choose to go with titties out of all things? And where did you why pixel? Why'd you what was your creative thought process here when creating your collection?
Well, it was inspired by CryptoPunks. The pixels. I kind of copied the format. But I made it different and obviously added like little titties. And honestly, I was tweeting a lot about it, getting a lot of, at the time, a lot of people like, oh my gosh, this girl just talks titties all the time. That's all she does, blah, blah, blah. So I just decided, why not make that, an NFT? It started out as a joke, it started out as something not very serious for a meme. And then when it sold, that made the meme even more powerful. And then it kept selling and it kept selling. So originally I didn't have any intention to take it anywhere. And once people started, buying more of my NFTs, one of my community members reached out and was like, what you should do is, give back, give to breast cancer, because your NFTs are related to that. And I was like, you know what? I had a friend that had died from breast cancer just, a few months before.
Wow.
And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you. She was really close, in our family. So it was really hard. And I thought that was a great idea. So what I ended up doing is donating a percentage of my profits to the American Cancer Society.
That's amazing.
And once I started doing that, they reached out to me. We had lunch, and I officially made Crypto Titties and the American Cancer Society kind of like unofficial partners. So they were working with me to share, the Crypto Titties project.
And then you partnered with them, well, not officially partnered with them for NFTs, and then you went and did She Survives NFTs. And then that was and then I see here that 40% of your proceeds go to American Cancer Society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
so with
beautiful.
that one I specifically made with the American Cancer Society in mind, because I wanted to make it more serious, you know, and it's just hard to, it's hard for them to, specifically work with those kind of I guess, inappropriate NFTs, and they were still really cool about working with me. But She Survives was meant to kind of elevate and donate more than I've ever donated. And honestly, I've had a lot of plans for it, but in this market, it's been, a trash market. So far, that project, I've been able to donate about $30,000. So it just feels like, I don't know, it's been really cool to have that, support by them. And it's really nice to be able to feel like I'm doing something good for the community and still getting, the art that I love out there.
That's great. That's absolutely amazing. So you did the art for both collections.
Well, so the secondary collection, She Survives, I did the base. I did like the outline and like the basic, woman behind it. I had an artist that I met. I initially hired her to kind of learn about layering. So she was just supposed to help me with layers of the project. And I just hired her for Fiverr because I was going to get her, I was just going to get her a few things, and then I was going to work on it by myself. She ended up blowing it out of the park. She just, this was her very first project, and I decided, you know what, like, she's so talented, like, she doesn't deserve to be on Fiverr. I'm going to hire her full time. So I ended up taking her from there and bringing her on the team. So we were able to give her more than what I initially paid her. So she just is incredibly talented. And her name is Sando. So she's not very active on Twitter, but she just is just amazing.
That's great. That's what I really love about NFTs and the community is just things like that can happen where you were initially going to pay her whatever you were able to pay her, and then the project did great, and now you brought her on. You were like, okay, well, you deserve more than this. And that's actually very nice of you to even consider her like that. Like that's so nice of you. I love that. You're a good person.
I think that, a lot of people have a stigma about Fiverr, and there's not very many talented people on there, unfortunately, as you can see in some of the Fiverr art that's on there. So when you see people actually go above and beyond, just the basic tasks that you give them, I just wanted to give her that opportunity. And I feel like a lot of people can find their big breaks by going from there to a bigger platform, especially with NFTs. I feel like NFTs are still so new that these undiscovered artists can just shine.
Exactly. I feel like we've seen a lot of that too, especially during the bull market. I mean, World of Women, just a bunch of women-led NFT projects that had just artists that were just trying to survive, and then the project went great and they were able to be full-time, and that's just a great opportunity. And and NFTs and crypto have done that for you as well. Was it scary not having that, having an actual like 9 to 5 and just doing your own thing and kind of being your own boss? Was that overwhelming at the start when you were just going off in the space?
Yeah, it absolutely was. I, spent a lot of nights like kind of stressed out, like, oh my gosh, like I have to do this by myself. Like I can't, luckily my husband's been very supportive throughout this whole thing, which is nice. But it's just crazy to, go into this world where you're not covered by insurance. You're not getting a specific paycheck. You have to, I get approached for promos and I have to do a lot of vetting before I can do that. So it's like, It's like you're your own manager, and it's just terrifying sometimes still to this day, especially now in this market. So, but it's fun. It's fun to wake up and be like, what am I going to do today? Not what do they want me to do today?
Exactly. That's the best thing about the space, is just being able to choose what you want to do. And you really just chose your path and you're doing great with it. I mean, even the chat, like, the chat's going off right now about how awesome you are. And it's true. Like, you really just like took life and by the titties, I guess, right? And like you just like, and you went off and you just chose to be your own gallery. You chose to just be yourself, and doxing yourself too. Was that something that was scary for you?
It was, because as my name, like Ashley is a very female name. So I would always get pictures like dick pics and like all these inappropriate comments. I was like, I'm getting that anyway. Why not dox myself? And that just flooded my inbox. It was crazy. But it was also really cool because when I did dox myself, I did one post, like I posted myself without picture or without makeup and with my glasses on, just the fresh, raw picture of me. And I said, I would love to connect with other crypto women, so excited to meet everybody. And it went viral and so many women commented. And I said, every picture of a woman, I would say something nice on their picture. So I went and there was about maybe 600 pictures. So I went on every single picture and commented how beautiful each woman was.
Aww.
And that was probably my favorite.
That's so amazing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just radiate good energy. Like, that's exactly like a great example. And just like empowering other women in the space, I feel is important too, just because there aren't a lot of us yet. Even though like, a lot of us are here, but there's still not a lot. Like, it's so minimal. I feel like there's a lot more that are going to come in. Do you have any friends that are women, or just like friends in general that do you talk about crypto with them, or is it more like they're not into crypto? Do you see more women coming into crypto since you've been in?
That's been hard because a lot of the women that I'm friends with, they're not really into it. Like I have one friend that came into crypto with me. Her name is Sky Girl on Twitter, and me and her have been friends for many years. So when I started getting into it, she was really excited. So that was one friend I felt like came in. Yeah, she's doing great too, I think so. But unfortunately, not very many women that I know are into it. So I'm hoping that I can convince more people to get into it, especially now that everything's kind of down. It would be like the perfect time for people to be onboarded.
Exactly. And do you mind expanding on that idea as well? Like why this is a good time to get onboarded? Because I've been telling people that for a long time, like, not a long time, the few like months that, Bitcoin's been on the decline and, the market has been a little bit on the decline, that this is a really good time to come into crypto. What are your thoughts? Expand, Ash.
So, when I first got into crypto, like I started beginning of 2021, coins were super low still. We were just coming out of that other bear market that had started from 2017 to 2021. I was able to make a really good amount of money that supported me, while I've been unemployed. And it was really eye-opening, and it taught me a lot of lessons because I not only gained big, but lost big. I've lost thousands of dollars. I've lost, 6 figures in gains just because, I didn't know how to read the market. And, fortunately, I can cover for that because I started so early. So if you start now, once these coins kind of take some time to look at charts, it's really important to look at technical analysis now more than ever, because then you can kind of try to catch the bottom, and then, find your way up. If you start now, I feel like it could take maybe a year, maybe a few years, but I feel like, you could set yourself up for really good gains, like I got in, 2021. So I really hope that a lot of people, whether it be seeing me or you, get into that when they can, just with the money that they can. Don't go crazy, but even if you spend a little bit, I feel like you can do well to duplicate your gains when a bull market hits.
Exactly. And I like how you said, maybe it's going to be a year, maybe it'll be 2 years, because we need to remember that we can't just get rich quick. And I think that's what a lot of people expect. I don't know if you feel the same, but did you see that during 2020, 2021, where Bitcoin was running up and, NFTs were booming and everyone was just trying to flip, and it was just a lot. I feel like everyone was just too hype and also a little bit anxious because everyone wanted to make that flip, make those gains.
I mean, a lot of people hear about the stories, they're publicized, heavily publicized, about the people that buy one thing and then they're a millionaire overnight. That's not reality. That is not reality. A lot of that is, behind the scenes. There's alpha groups, there's things going on that people don't understand. Some people are lucky, but it's 1 in a million. That's not going to happen to you. More than likely, what's going to happen is that you pick good projects that you can invest yourself in, wait it out. I love holding stuff. I'm a serial holder. So I feel like if you hold stuff you may not gain as much as somebody who actively trades, but your risk management is so low. That's what's important, because I'd rather like lose out on big gains than actually lose my money that I put into it.
Smart stuff. I like it. I like it. I think that's like the mentality more people need to have. Even, trading is not for everybody, but just like buy and hold. I like holding. I'm like a hodler, been holding on for dear life for years now. And it's just like, when you're holding and like, okay, I'm buying, or if you're dollar cost averaging and you're buying $5 a week, that's $5 a week you're not going to touch. So why worry about the short term when you're trying to have that long term plan? I feel like a lot of people just get really caught up.
Exactly, I totally agree. People lack patience, and that's what will kill their wallet market.
Exactly. People lack patience. I think that's like the best way someone's put it. Like, yeah, people lack patience. They want instant gratification. Like, oh, why didn't this 100x yet? Or if they're like, I don't know if you've gotten this, where people are like, oh, why am I going to buy your NFT? Like, why, why is the floor this and that? Like, no, you're going to, you're going to buy the NFT for the NFT, you fool. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you really believe in a project, you need to, don't look at floor prices, don't look at initial cost. Like, if the fundamentals are there, then stick with it and you'll see the rewards from that.
Exactly. And what do you think is like really rewarding about running your own NFT projects and being kind of in control of your career and what you're up to?
Well, there's a lot of pros and cons, probably more cons than pros sometimes. The pros is that me being an active member in my own community, I feel like I can connect with them, and I feel like I've had so many people that say, like, this is my very first NFT. This got me into NFTs. I love it. It's so much fun. I don't care if it goes to zero. Like, it's just, and they love and appreciate the art, and that means everything to me. So I feel like I have this personal relationship with, the utility that I added, just generally with, donations and getting access to secondary projects and trying to bring in whitelist spots for my community. Those are really fun things. I feel like, I work for them in a sense, and, it makes me like, if I feel like giving up, I'm like, no, this community needs me. Even now, the biggest con that I'd say is whenever there's a downturn, there's like a mountain of FUD that you have to climb to get to where you need. And the important thing that creators need to remember is that no matter how low your floor price, you can't give up, because you don't want to rug your community. You don't want to abandon your community, even if my projects go to zero for years. I'm still going to be there every day, like working, saying hi, being in the Discord. It's just, you just can't give up.
Exactly. You cannot give up, my friends. Gosh, so many people. I've seen a lot of it lately where there's projects that have just disappeared. People that have literally disappeared just because the market went down and it's not going exactly how they wanted. People are not fulfilling roadmaps because it's just not possible. The money's not there. The liquidity's not there. And it's just like, where are these people going? And then you're teaching people, like, you're just abandoning people. And that's not right.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that you have a commitment. Almost.
Exactly. I mean, it may not go perfect. I wasn't able to fulfill all the items in my roadmap, but what I did is I changed it. I limited the supply. I changed my roadmap.
Exactly.
I increased the amount of donations. That's, you just got to adjust yourself. You just can't walk away, because once you have an obligation to fulfill to your community.
Exactly. And, that's respectable, because instead of giving up, you're like, okay, I have to make adjustments to make this work. And that's what's most important. And your community appreciates that. People appreciate that honesty, where you're like, okay, maybe I can't do A, B, and C, but this is what I'm going to try to do instead, because that's the best I can do. That's at my capacity. That's respectable. I'm here for that. I commend you. Let's actually jump into the Ballet giveaway. Do you have a phrase or a word for friends to enter in the chat to win one of these?
I'll say, to be appropriate, kitties. Kitties. Kidies.
Okay, friends. Type kitties into the chat in order to win a Ballet wallet. I'll let you guys know who wins in a few minutes. All right, there we go. It's in the chat now. Enter kitties. Woo! Okay. Yes, this is really fun. I really love this. I love giving these away. They're super cool wallets. But I mean, have you been, speaking of wallets and stuff, have you been seeing, I'm sure you've been seeing all of the news where people are just kind of getting wrecked because they don't take self-custody. When do you have like a self-custody horror story, or do you like take self-custody of your crypto? What are your feelings about what's going on right now?
I am like super risk management since I worked in fraud before, and I've worked in those things. I've always had self custody. I've always been, I've had a ledger to protect my biggest assets. Like, you've got to protect yourself, because if, like the KuCoin thing, I used to have all my assets in KuCoin. Once I started getting any ounce of unsure, like once I started feeling like unsure about them, I switched my assets. You got to really protect yourself, because I've known people that have lost like millions of dollars because they didn't have self-custody or a ledger. Even, that's millions of dollars that you're staking, thousands, even hundreds can make a difference. If you're struggling to pay rent, you have $500 in your account, and then you lose that's $500 that you could have put towards your bills. So you got to protect yourself, like self-custody, ledger, all that. If you don't do it now, like right now, this second.
Exactly. We need to take self-custody. I mean, how did you learn about self-custody? Did you lose something in order to learn, or do you just like, it was a natural kind of thing for you? You just like, okay, I have crypto, now this is my next step.
Actually, there was a couple people that I followed back when I was more lurking. Raphael, Rigo, and 360 Trader. Those are two, influencers that really helped me understand the importance of that. They posted about it a lot. I actually won a ledger from Raphael Rigo. She's like a super strong, like awesome woman. She works out. She makes a lot of money. So she's one of my idols. So it's been cool to have. I'm very lucky that I didn't lose anything because I had people that I was watching.
Yeah, you gotta find them good influencers. I know. I preach about self custody all the time because it's just so important, and it hurts my heart what's happening in the space right now where people are just getting wrecked, and it's just something that shouldn't happen. Do you actually use, since you have a ledger? I just wanted to ask: do you store NFTs on your ledger, or you're still like more keeping your NFTs on a MetaMask type, or how do you take custody of your NFTs?
So initially I put my NFTs on a ledger, and then I've actually got mine in a vault now, a Coinbase vault. I don't know how people feel about Coinbase, but I might switch mine back to a ledger just because I was kind of tinkering with it. And I was actually trying to figure out if I should trade some of my bigger assets. Because initially I was going to sell, I have a mutant ape, so I was going to sell mine at the higher price point. I decided to keep it. Unfortunately I could have made a really good trade, but it is what it is. But I personally will probably go back to a ledger, especially if you don't plan on touching your stuff.
Yeah.
Then it's good to put them on. But if you plan on selling or touching your stuff, just put it in a vault so it's easier to transfer. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and when did you own a Bored Ape first before getting your mutant, or you just like bought the mutant?
Oh, I wish, I saw those spaces and those, the clubhouse is about the Bored Ape. I saw them forever and I missed out on, but I ended up getting a mutant later in the year. I bought it 17 ETH. It was a lot, but the cool thing is I bought before the other side and the Ape coin. So I ended up I sold Ape coin at all-time high.
Nice.
It was like scary good timing because I basically paid off my mutant before it dropped. So basically right now I'm just kind of riding the wave, because essentially like my mutant ape was like free and clear. So I'm just kind of playing with house money now. So
that's awesome. And what is it like being in the Ape Yacht Club, whether it's Bored Ape Mutant Ape Yacht Club? So what's that like? Because I know there's a ton of events. Did you attend any last NFT NYC in November? And I know you went to Ape Fest this time around, which we could talk about as well.
Well, back in November, I didn't have the mutants. I was like super envious, And that's what was my pinnacle of, like that was my pinnacle of success. Like, I felt like having a Bored Ape or Mutant Ape would mean that, you're in that, like, it's like a really close-knit community. Like, everybody that's in there, they're very supportive of each other. Projects want you involved in their project because you are. So I got more opportunities, more doors open for me. I went to going to Ape Fest this year. I was able to go to every day because I had friends that were like, "Oh, you're Ape fan. Let's go. Like, let's go together." Like, it's like literally a family. Like, a lot of people that own the Bored Apes and Mutant Apes know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You have all these group chats with so many close people. You have like, it just feels like, it almost feels like a sorority in a way. Like, that's the most relatable way to say it.
That is pretty cool. It's just like, because you have this NFT, you have a community that's just at your disposal, which is pretty cool. And how did you feel about Ape Fest this year? What were some highlights from Ape Fest? I know inside, I heard they did a lot of cool things where there were just bananas everywhere. Like, what did you see that was pretty cool for you?
Well, I loved, like, every day I hit up the Bored Breakfast Club's coffee. They had this coffee shop, and they had like this wake and bake that had like CBD oil, and it was like caramel and super yummy iced coffee. So I had that like every time. The first day I was there, I had this latte that they print your mutant or Bored Ape on. So that was like perfect Instagram picture. So
that's so cool.
Then they had like free food, free drinks they had this really cool merch store, exclusive merch that even was cool to go in and see everything. It felt like you were going into like a very exclusive, like store. Like, it felt like, going into like Gucci or Louis Vuitton. It was like that kind of vibe, and then when you go into there, I mean, it's like the pier, it was on a rooftop. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful place. You could see all of New York. So just gorgeous, and I actually got to meet people, which was really cool. So that was a really cool benefit of going to Fest. Yeah, I mean, obviously big highlight was seeing Eminem and Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
It was awesome. Pretty much, I mean, they didn't quite do, the performance like we were expecting, but still being in the presence of these titans, like, that I've idolized for so many years, it was just like, I wouldn't take it back for anything. Like, it was totally worth it. I would have bought a Mutant Ape all over again just to go.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I saw videos from that, and then I actually watched the music video. I thought it was really cool how they integrated just their Bored Apes and how they animated the full bodies and everything like that. I found that so fascinating, just being able to even bring these people into Web3 just because of NFTs and because of the Bored Apes. Like, that's pretty sick, to say the least. How do you think, NFTs are going to be like going forward? Because I mean, you've seen NFTs really pop off, so do you think there's more of that coming? Where do you see NFTs going?
I'm extremely bullish on NFTs, like, more so than even crypto, because NFTs, everybody that's in the art community already has their eyes on NFTs. It's something that's different. Like, crypto is all about, like, obviously about money, which NFTs are in a sense, but NFTs are more for art, like collectors, than anything else. Like, people are selling one-of-ones. People are I see a future where even like government documents will be on the blockchain. It's just, I feel like there's so much utility behind. Yes. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's like a whole new world, in my opinion. It's like the future that we're living right now, and we're just on the cusp of that.
Yes. How do you, like, there's so many people that don't understand NFTs yet. There's so many people that don't understand Bitcoin yet. So we're extremely early. And I love how you said government documentation. Like, what do you envision being one of the first NFTs or first documents being put on the blockchain? Like, do you envision it being like maybe a diploma of some sort or a birth certificate? Where do you think this is going?
I think every major document could be that way because a lot of people can forge these documents that will help on like so many different factors. Like driver's license is a big one because a lot of people, underage people, they go into bars and they drink, and some of them drive and get into car accidents, and the bartender served them, the bar shuts down, the bartender loses their license. I mean, there's so many consequences for just that. I see, passports, especially because those can be replicated.
Absolutely.
Criminal records, all of that, lives on the blockchain. Like, why not? Why not, do that? Because then you don't have to keep those paper documents, maybe house deeds, all those things could be done and easily transferred versus the heavy amount of paperwork that we all have to deal with now.
Yeah, I was about to say, because you were into real estate and how you envision NFTs blending with that, because I feel as though like we should be able to go on a marketplace and see maybe a rental of some sort, like an Airbnb, right? And be able to just buy that NFT for the week or rent that NFT for the week.
Yes, I love that idea because I feel like, we're so close to that. Like I've already, seen companies that are putting real estate investments on the blockchain. And I think that, is one of the biggest assets because I feel like, if we go into a place where, mortgage, officers take, like, you can pay crypto or your mortgage in crypto, I think that will be huge to bridging the gap between, real estate and Web3, because then not only are you paying in crypto, but you can get all your documents and NFTs, and that's just like smooth. That would take seconds instead of weeks to close a property.
Exactly. Because I think even with the NFT, because you can see where it's transferred, you can see who's been in the house, and it's like it kind of eliminates the Carfax part of like housing, right? Like vetting the house, seeing where it's been, and like where it's been in the same spot, but like be like who's been in it and what it's gone through, and maybe the damages like I've been done to the house and things like that you would be able to hide normally. Isn't that a big thing in real estate? I was talking to Crypto Wendio, and she was saying how, she bought a house and she found out that there was just everything under the sun wrong with it. And maybe, do you think NFTs can fix this?
Potentially, because I've had something similar, like it'd be cool if inspections could live on the blockchain and be added, like, how they have metadata updates, if you had those updates and had, the hidden content that could be made available for the owners, then you could see all that stuff. And that would be amazing because then you could save yourself so much hassle. Even if something is fixed, you can say, this is expired, or, just constant updates. So I feel like that is, could bring us one step closer to, having, like, I've had a poor inspection experience once because something was so wrong with it. It wasn't caught for 10 years. 10 years went by. No one caught it.
Wow.
And it ended up costing the seller thousands of dollars. There's houses that are built before, I think it's the 70s. They have this thing behind their mirror and nobody thinks to look. So if you're buying a house and you have an old house and you have one of those mirrors that open, that are attached to the wall, what you need to do is open the mirror and look to see if there's a slot. Because if there is, behind your wall, there's a bunch of dirty razor blades. It's a very common thing back in the day for a bunch of people to stuff their dirty razor blades because they had nowhere to put them. They wouldn't put them in the trash. They would put them in their walls. So
Whoa.
I found that out because I did a lot of digging. So you got to be careful. And that would be amazing because that would save people. That would save construction people, like people that go to fix these, renovate these houses. They bust open that wall and they can get, they can get lots of things. Like they can get cut by those razors. They can get infections,
Absolutely.
It's disgusting.
Wow,
So,
that's horrible. I didn't know that was even a thing. People hiding razors behind their walls. Like, what?
it's awful. Like I would have never guessed that, but real estate, you find out something new every day.
Yeah, people, wow. That's a concept right there. Even someone in the chat, I think the Chemo and Crypto said NFTs are the new timeshare destination vacation. That's actually pretty cool. I think that could be used for timeshares, no?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
theoretically, as it's split ownership, you could have like one piece of property and have like 12 owners. It would be amazing.
yeah, like fractionalize it, maybe like make. Because I was talking to Didi Taihutu. I don't know if you saw that show last week with Didi Taihutu, and he was, or 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about just like fractionalizing his beach bar and making it into kind of a DAO. And like, I don't know, there's just so many ways you can go with this in real estate. I'm very intrigued by this. I think that's probably going to be one of the next big ways besides gaming. Are you into NFT gaming at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say that I've gotten less into gaming because I've been so busy with like, just so many other things like, like this and trying to trade and being in these groups and communicating with all, honestly, I spend a lot of time in group chats, but yeah, I'm trying to get more into it.
Got it. And, before we close out, what is one thing that you would really want to say to the community, whether that's about like NFTs or life, anything? What is a message you would like to share?
One thing that I have said pretty often is, if you feel like you can't be successful in anything, whether that's NFTs, crypto, whatever it is that you're doing, just tell yourself, why not you? Why can't you be the one that has the success? Like, stop telling yourself like the reasons that you can't do it. Just do it. Just keep pushing through, even if it takes a long time. Again, why not you? Just keep trucking on. And I think eventually that everyone that wants to do something for a living will have that opportunity if they just keep being persistent.
Absolutely. Persistence is key. I absolutely love that piece of advice. I feel like that really like warmed my heart a little bit. Like, Ashley, you're amazing. Guys, I'm going to drop where can everyone find you? And I'll just try to drop as many links as I can in this live chat, but I also have your links in my description as well.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. I'm mostly on Twitter at Ashley D. I just started a YouTube channel and it's the same username at Ashley D. Everything else I kind of, I'm on TikTok and Instagram, but those are kind of like, I don't ever go on them, but so Twitter is the main place to find me.
Awesome. So in the chat, guys, I just put Ashley's Twitter, her YouTube channel, I just subscribed, and her link tree. So that's also in the description as well. So you guys can find every single one of her links, whether that's her social media or She Survives NFTs or the Crypto Titties OpenSea and merch and everything like that. I really need to get one of these NFTs. It's pretty awesome. And I really respect what you're doing. And I really appreciate you coming on the show today. Like, you're really cool. And I appreciate what you're doing, especially because you're helping so many people with your donations. So thank you for being a kind person.
Much love to you. I really love what you're doing too. Such an inspiration to so many women and just keep it up. I just love the kinship here. It's just nice to meet other women that are advocates for other women. It's not as common in Web 2, so I hope Web 3 is more unified on that front.
Absolutely. I'm with you. We need more women in crypto. We need more everybody in crypto. We're still extremely early. So let's spread the news. Let's spread that awesome zest. I know that you guys have it. Thank you everyone in the chat that came today. You guys are super cool. Congrats to Jimmy with the stimmy for winning your Ballet wallet. Hit me up on Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, then go on my website, missteencrypto.com, and send me a message through there and I'll take care of you. Send me your email. I'll forward it to the Ballet team. I'll get you going. Thank you guys so much for everybody that came today. Please, if you enjoyed this stream, please like, subscribe, share it out with friends, and stay zesty with it because the Miss Teen Crypto Show will be back again next week with more amazing guests. And please, guys, please follow Ashley. She's so awesome. Her tweets are great, and you'll definitely get a chuckle every day and a lot of positive energy. So thank you guys so much for coming. Have a great day, and as always, stay zesty. Peace. Woo!
Good morning, crypto Twitter, it's Miss Teen Crypto, spreading crypto with doctors showing its benefits to my generation. Shout out to all my people, Gen Z needs to be included. It's really that simple. We are savage, amazed, boss, zesty, making money at the same time, spread peace. I feel empty if you don't include Gen Z. About to change the world, so y'all better get ready. Miss Teen Crypto, I'm never backing down. I got a wax account, you should check it out. So many NFTs, I think I lost count.